and I want you to kind of take it seriously. But we're going to have some fun along the way. So, you know, and I think we can't point fingers at our kids because who's teaching them? I mean, are you aware of what we just heard about 10 days ago in Atlanta? That over 70% of the teachers had falsified these reports and the grade inflation, so it makes them look good. Whatever happened to integrity? Whatever happened to some of these basic qualities that made us great in the first place? So I think one of the problems is we have, you know, poor leadership. And one of the problems is also power. Now, I will tell you, power doesn't build character, it reveals it. And has there not been an abuse of power? Think of our people in power. Think of some of the politicians. Do you even have to think twice of a few names that come to mind? I mean, was John Edwards really showing good character? Playing around when his wife is dying of cancer? Spending funds on his honey that was supposed to go to the campaign? I think there's a guy nearby, Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's not cool stuff. Clinton kind of showed some disrespect for the Oval Office. Tiger Woods, everybody's American family man, kind of forgot that his family was first. So I think we need to look at what power does. Now, I personally like it. It gives me the opportunity to influence and change and make a difference. But it's the abuse of power. And what happens? Here's one of the problems with power. Power is addictive. And so if we're on the wrong trail or on the wrong track, it truly becomes a problem. And here's where the bigger problem is in terms of bullying. Is, you know, violence is certainly a form of bullying. Bullying is a form of violence, oftentimes, one way or another. And the fact is that violence gives kids power. And they get addicted to it. And they'll act it out in all different ways. And that's why some of your drivers are having the problems they're having on the buses. It is truly an addiction. And then what do you think is feeding it? It's not that, well, unfortunately, most bullies were first bullied themselves. And guess where they were bullied? You want to guess? By their parents, in the home, by a sister or brother. They were taught it. Look, love is learned, and so is hate. They got it from somewhere. So when we're looking at, you know, the whole thing of addiction, what we have to realize is that it's all about garbage in, garbage out. Why are we surprised? I just did North Carolina and South Carolina this past week. Their bus, student transportation associations. And it's crazy. I mean, I got kicked out of school for chewing gum. Now we're just happy if they don't bring guns to school. And so we do have a whole different challenge. But look at our video games. Just the other week, it was a couple weeks ago, we were defending violence in a video game. Why are we defending that our kids need to have video games that have violence? And see, the judge said, well, cartoons have it. Well, I don't think cartoons should either, and I'm not sure why two wrongs make a right. I don't understand that logic. But when you and I were watching cartoons, and when people are watching videos today, it's different. Because with technology, there is such a vividness, a liveness, such a realness, that a lot of kids' brains can't distinguish the difference. And so they kind of forget that they're playing a game, and they grab the next kid on the bus, and the driver's got a problem. So when we look at the whole, you know, system, we have to admit that it has failed. And then what it comes to is somebody's got to take ownership for it. Have you noticed nobody's ever responsible for what happens? It just kind of happens. You ever watch Judge Judy? It was interesting. A woman confessed. It was a soccer player. She had knocked another soccer player, a girl player, a female player, in the eye, and she had a black eye. But then she decided lying was a better way out. Isn't it interesting now that lying has become a form of problem solving? And so she changed her tune and said that she apologized. Because Judge Judy said, well, if you didn't do it, why did you apologize? Well, she just happened to have a black eye. It just happened to happen. And I'll tell you, we are all responsible. I want you to look at the person next to you. If you don't like that person, look at somebody else. You have a choice. We always have choices. Look at the person next to you and say, who's responsible? And what you're going to answer with, you're looking at him or you're looking at her. You know what?